As I said recently in a post calling out Kodansha US, which caused them to block me. And slowly the infiltration into Japanese media continues. Like the anime Shiki, these activists will be welcomed in unbeknownst to the creatives. Then one by one, the creators will be converted into activist-minded types until the whole village is completely unrecognizable. The other day, I was catching up on Mission Yozakura Family, and one episode that easily stood out to me is when Taiyo, the main character, was willing to go all out to protect the girl he loves, no matter the cost, fighting against this monstrous being. And it really captured that motivation that speaks to a lot of men, that the reason we strive to become more than we currently are is not necessarily for us, but for the ones we love, that we're fighting on others' behalf, displaying that true heroic spirit, and that Taiyo, the reason he went through all of his harsh training, damn near being met with death, was all for her to prove to her older brother that he's worthy of her love.
だが万が一でもそんなことさせるわけには。これからは俺がお前を守るんだ。
And on her end, Musumi, her love shining through caregiving and nurturing ways, staying by his side in moments where he's close to death, willing to go to the extreme if it means bringing him back to life. And in moments where even his strength gets the best of him, about to go berserk mode, she serves as a source of calmness, bringing him back to his human side, helping to integrate his newfound power and not let it control him, which ultimately led to his victory in her savior. And what I noticed was, this was a perfect portrayal of the yin and yang, of the masculine and the feminine existing in harmony, and how well they complement each other when they come together. How Taiyo truly embodied his masculine role of protecting and providing, while Musumi embraced her feminine role of nurturing and healing. And I just felt so appreciative that I'm still able to enjoy seeing characters and stories like these, where in anime and manga these stories are abundant, but in Western media these archetypes of femininity and masculinity have become rare to see or just mocked whenever introduced now. And it's the reason I make these videos, cherishing what we still have being offered from Japanese media. They value these themes of love, man and woman, heroism, while the West has just abandoned them. Almost seeing these themes as something that needs to be subverted, dismantled, and deconstructed, that a masculine man or feminine woman is problematic, while the reversal should be praised and celebrated. Now, before I get to the Wish Head Atelier and the Kodansha situation of how feminism will destroy Japanese media, here are some quick examples of what I mean. A lot of journalists view the damsel in distress as something inherently wrong with anime, or a woman being a love interest for a guy is something to scoff at. For instance, when it comes to Sailor Moon, here's an article trashing the idea of Tuxedo Mask being her savior. In addition to Sailor Moon being her own worst enemy, a worse offender than herself is Tuxedo Mask, who repeatedly saves her from her own weaknesses. Part of the problem lies in the damsel in distress stereotype, where the man always has to save the helpless girl. And when it comes to My Happy Marriage, Mio, whose waifu, embodies every aspect of femininity, proudly relying on her husband to be the protector, her savior, always putting his life on the line. This is something journalists don't like, with this quote. While her actions stem from a deep desire to belong, some fans find it frustrating that she refuses to stand up for herself, reinforcing the image of a damsel in distress. And when it comes to the beginning after the end, the complaint persists. The beginning after the end can still make one change in its newest character to stop the anime's downfall. The newest addition to the cast is Tessia Aerolith. So far, her character has been limited to an overused anime trope, the damsel in distress. The anime can highlight Tessia's strength and dump the damsel in distress trope sooner to let her blossom into who she is. Again, when it comes to My Hero Academia Vigilantes, the idea of Popstep being a love interest was seen as controversial. Popstep's character has a lot of potential, but in the first few episodes of the My Hero Academia Vigilante series, her growth has been limited to being the love interest of the protagonist, Koichi. The story needs to establish her as a strong character from the start. This has convinced fans that Popstep's entire character is created to be the love interest of Koichi, and she will most likely remain limited to it. Now, something I can't help but notice is that all too common with journalists who commentate on anime is that they have a problem with women who embrace their natural essence of femininity. The way they view feminine women is as someone who's underdeveloped, like femininity is just a phase they need to grow out of or mature from. Femininity for women is limiting in their eyes. To the ideological feminist, a woman being feminine feminine is the same as a machine malfunctioning or glitching. They only value women if they're acting like a man at all times. For example, here's a clip of a foreign woman commenting on Japanese women who naturally embrace their femininity, and she sees this as something wrong.
Do the beauty standard in Japan affect me as a black woman living here, an African woman specifically? Yes and no. But when I came to Japan, I feel like women are too feminine, but the femininity is attached to childishness, to be like a child poide. I also noticed that in my modeling experience, that the role I get as a model, female model, is usually related to strength. A security woman, a factory working, or like a safari guard, something attached to strength rather than femininity per se, per society standard. So that's when I realized when I came to Japan, oh wait, Japan doesn't look at me as feminine enough, as like a woman, but more like a woman. You know?
Completely fueling my point even more. People who have been brainwashed enough to view femininity as a curse, believing in the dogma that women can only be valued if they force themselves to be masculine at all times. While me, I love feminine women. It's something I value even more as femininity becomes more scarce due to feminism. I love that Japan still cherishes and values feminine women, and it's something that is shown and celebrated in their storytelling in countless manga and anime. Feminine women are a treasure to society, but something else the feminists love to hate are women characters being the love interests, particularly in shonen. They hate the idea that a male character drives their motivation for becoming stronger, greater, more capable, and competent comes from the woman he loves, making their whole reason for being is willing to die for the woman he loves. That archetype of a heroic character speaks to the soul of male viewers and readers. It inspires us, which is why shonen focuses on the male perspective. And it's something a lot of journalists hate about shonen. They hate that it's so popular, mainly because it's male dominated and geared towards guys, which speaks to a video I made months ago commenting on this. Can men at least have their anime? But guys, we like to be the savior and the hero. The idea of putting our life on the line to protect those we love. And the source of that is the love interest a lot of times, as it is for Taiyo being the savior to Musumi. But a woman being the love interest is something feminists scoff at. They hate, they demonize, look down towards it. They view the love interest as a pick-me girl, which is really just a tactic of female intersexual competition. Love interest for guy characters, they see it as something to be done away with, as hinted here in this clip.
The Invincible fandom is like wildly sexist. I knew that there was going to be a reaction to Zoe, but I think the thing that's annoying me is seeing so many comments that are like, oh, I'm fine with it because she's obviously there to be a love interest for Oliver. She's obviously there to serve the interest of other male characters in the show. Women are autonomous beings that can do things for their own reasons that don't actually have to involve men. So her being there doesn't mean that she is going to be a romantic interest, a sister, or a mother. I know this is going to be shocking for you Invincible fans because this is like a really big exclusive headline, but you know, women are people and don't just exist for men. And that's something I think you guys need to learn. These comments ain't it, bro.
And this is why Western media has declined, and Eastern, or more specifically Japanese media, has risen. They know their audience and serve their audience. Shonen and seinen are for guys, so storytelling will be catered to us, as others like shoujo and josei will be catered to a more female demographic. But here in the West, over the past decade or two, males' interest in media has been demonized and seen as something to be done away with, or infiltrated to the point that they become unrecognizable. Then when men leave that space that was mainly geared towards them, the same feminists who sought to destroy that space wonder why the men left. And what concerns me is that this mindset that acts like a virus will eventually spread to Japanese media and corrupt them as well, as seen with this example highlighted by the YouTuber Think Before You Sleep.
One of the biggest lies that we have been telling in Western media is that Japan does not have feminism. I think it's really funny when people say that feminism doesn't exist in Japan because you are seeing it. I am obviously a feminist myself, so I support Japanese feminists.
Nobody cares. I swear these activists are the most annoying people on the planet. They constantly throw out the dumbest takes while pretending to be intelligent.
But you also kind of advocate a lot for feminism here in Japan.
I think a lot of feminists in Japan are trying to advocate for people to feel free to do what they want. And not only that, but to also not feel the pressure to become like a housewife or something like that, which you can do if you want to. But I think that you should have that choice and be able to say, okay, do I want to do this, or do I want to have my career, or do both?
Yes, that is the same person from the first video. She was using a face filter, which is never mind.
Is this something you regularly face in your comments as well? That, oh, you're a foreigner coming to Japan, you're bringing Western ideals here. It's not your place to speak about this.
Definitely. And I think people love to say like, oh, you're a white woman. I'm like, yeah, but I'm hoping that the more I talk about these things, the more that people will start to bring awareness. And I'm really hoping that we'll start to see more Japanese people and foreigners alike come together and think, okay, well, clearly this is not the exact image of Japan I had, and that's a good thing because it means that we can see what we have to change.
This is what I find to be most annoying. This girl is from England. She has been living in Japan for like 5 minutes. She doesn't speak the language, and she's like, yeah, we have to change everything about this country. This is the most annoying type of person, and as for me, as someone who has studied Japanese for years, if there are any political thoughts in my mind about Japan, it's not about how I can change all the things about their society that I don't like, but it is instead about how I can export the good things about Japan, like their very low crime rates.
Which is why I said these activist ideologies act like a virus. Once they corrupted one society, they must seek out the next one to corrupt. Femininity not allowed, but feminism yes, and must be force-fed and pushed through society like a bulldozer. Which now leads us to the latest scandal of Kodansha US working with the UN to help facilitate their agenda and force their ideology into Japanese media. Because as I always say, activists don't create, they only infiltrate. But real quick, as some of you know who tune into my live streams, I recently started to learn how to draw. So for this video, I decided to do a sketch of Taiyo himself to keep it on topic with this video, which I'm okay with and satisfied with, but I can see where I need improvement and where I was crooked at. But if you yourself are looking to learn as well or start the same journey as Ethan, a regular in my streams, has decided to do, shout out Ethan and the sketches you sent me, along with many others, I like to show love on stream, highlighting you guys' art you send me. Well, in this video, I tagged a basic sketchbook and toolkit that's very similar to mine if you want to get started. Now, thankfully, my brother, who's a professional artist, was able to identify the various items, which to me look like a bone to a monkey, similar to Space Odyssey 2001. But nonetheless, it's all I need for when I progress further. Also, if you want to support physical media, I've also tagged the manga of Mission Yozakura Family Volume 1, as well as the first season on DVD or a comic bifold vinyl wallet of it. It helps the channel, but regardless, I'll always appreciate the love. Now back to the video. And in an interview with Kamome Shirahama, she discusses with a UN outlet about her manga and anime Witch Hat Atelier, and here are some points many fans, including me, have noticed. While asserting her taste for American comics, if they mean current comics, that's a red flag, she remains deeply rooted in the manga tradition, a form of expression at the crossroads of art and entertainment where women now play a prominent role. Like yourself, more and more women have managed to make their mark in this traditionally male-dominated field. How do you explain this shift? Now, before moving on, these are clear signs of the IOF. It's very disrespectful to speak as if women haven't been active in this industry to a huge degree, producing classics that are still beloved today. This journalist acts as if anime and manga started 2 years ago as a medium. And this is something I notice activists do. They create false narratives, manufacture problems, all to create artificial upset and outrage to convince people who are involved in said industry that change needs to be had. They present disparities within a certain field, and if it has more males than they desire, shit, it only even needs to be one male. They viewed it as inherently evil and will work tirelessly to corrupt it from the inside out. But I'm so glad that fans have been given immense pushback to this nonsense, like this viral post acknowledging the author for some of my favorites in top 5 like Rama. Rumiko's already been in the industry for like 50 years, and these guys are telling you that women in manga are only just now getting prominence? This is bullshit! I love how the author is talking about how women are invisible in the manga industry, completely ignoring how many influential mangaka have been women. The longest best rated anime is from a manga made by a woman. In fact, it got adopted twice. This is political propaganda. Even Japan is getting in on this, now realizing what we in the West have been dealing with these journalists applying the same attitudes that have destroyed so many of our franchises and beloved classics. From the dawn of manga, there have been female manga artists, and manga has been created for women and supported by women. There are many female manga artists who have left their mark on Japanese manga industry. Please stop spreading the lie that it's only recently that women have been able to shine. Don't make these women invisible as if they never existed by using such deceptive words. With other users pointing out the sudden switch up on the UN with anime, and suddenly the UN loves anime and manga, pointing out a headline like this: new UN report claims manga and anime promote gender stereotypes, violence against women and children. With Savvy pointing out articles or agenda points and goals of why Kodansha would even work with the UN after they thrown disrespect towards the industry. In 2020, Kodansha became a member of the United Nations SDG Media Compact, identifying issues based on international guidelines and survey criteria used by ESG assessment organizations. Be the steward of freedom and diversity. And by no coincidence, this piece of work has attracted what I know as the IOF, the Identity Obsessed Fan. Check out my video on that if you want a full breakdown. But essentially, it's those who aren't a fan of the substance of something but only surface level doesn't meet their representation quotas. For example, I hope everyone who reads Witch Hat Atelier has noticed that the mangaka includes a wide diversity of characters with different skin tones, heights, weights, and sexual orientations. It's such a refreshing change from the other manga, and it's really great for the communities involved. Another representation that our sensei incorporates is illness, with Tarta having achromatopsia. But I just noticed that there's another character who also has a rare condition, vitiligo or acromia, a disease that causes skin depigmentation. And for those of you who are looking for a magical, queer, heart-racing story of empathy and self-discovery, please do yourself a favor and go read Witch Hat Atelier. And it seems it's only a matter of time before this author gets fully captured by the Western elites, the activist-minded types. Because I'm always concerned when Eastern creatives get involved with current Hollywood or just current Western mainstream outlets, because it's like a black hole that eventually sucks you in. And looking at her resume, she's already on her way to being so, working on current Marvel and DC comics like Birds of Prey. Plus, she's already adopting the virtue signaling tactics of Hollywood elites, believing they're the all-knowing and being and all-benevolent, something that has become extremely annoying and repulsive, but something that some celebrities have finally taken notice to.
You have been politically outspoken in the past. Mm-hmm. You know, you had a lot to say. How you feel about talking out now?
I don't really know if I should. I'm just sharing my opinion on something that's going to just add fuel to a fire that's ripping the country apart.
I mean, I saw you at a press conference recently when you were speaking about Gaza point to our elected officials as the people who need to be responsible for answering those questions and not putting that on actors and other celebrities to sort of take a stand.
Yeah, just like if, you just watch these actors' faces who have had incredible careers and done amazing things and made incredible contributions, that all of a sudden one half of the internet or one half of the country just can't stand anymore. They don't want to see their face anymore because of blah, 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 blah. And I get so upset for those people and those actors, and it just feels so wrong. So I don't know.
As I said, all of this fuels my concern that feminism will corrupt everything I love about Japanese media. It's already destroyed so many classic Western properties from the past that by no coincidence has inspired a lot of Japanese creators. From Star Wars, Marvel, Terminator, Western fantasy as a whole genre, but not just Lord of the Rings. If Japanese studios and creators don't stay vigilant, what has happened to our entertainment will soon pass on to your entertainment and erode the core essence and identity of what makes manga and anime special, that many of us sought refuge in. As I said recently in a post calling out Kodansha US, which caused them to block me. And slowly the infiltration into Japanese media continues. Like the anime Shiki, these activists will be welcomed in unbeknownst to the creatives. Then one by one, the creators will be converted into activist-minded types until the whole village is completely unrecognizable. These journalists aren't your friends. They only see you as tools to be used for their cause. And believe me, the second you deviate from that cause, even in the slightest, they'll discard you. Or even worse, will turn on you, coordinating the most vicious smear campaigns you've ever experienced. And in the end, you'll be left confused, depressed, and miserable, left completely drained out of any creativity you once had. Don't be the useful idiot. But that's all I have for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. And this is not just for Japanese creators, but any creators coming up today. Stay vigilant of these snakes, scum, and shiki, I might add. Smile in your face, plotting behind your back types, because without you and your creativity, they can't corrupt a culture from the inside out. Also, if you want to support me and the content I create, consider joining my channel and becoming a member. It's much appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Free think. Peace.